Hey guys, Russell here, Ballistic Performance. Going to talk about some of the things that go into, some of the thoughts and ideas that go into purchasing a firearm, whether it's your first or your 10th, um, and definitely not a set of instructions of what you should and should not do. Just, I think, some of the ideas a person should consider, not unlike buying a car or a suit or anything else. So, the example I'll use is my Smith & Wesson M&P 9 full size. So I think some of your first questions are going to be what is the purpose? Are you hunting? Are you, do you need, are you hunting big game? Does it need to be a rifle? Does it need to be a really big rifle? Are you hunting rabbits so it could be a 22 or even a shotgun? Are you hunting birds in the air where clearly you're going to need a shotgun? Or is it personal defense and concealed carry and stuff like that, in which case you could need a handgun, and in particular you could need a very small concealable handgun. So first decide that. In my case, my wife wanted something to protect her. She was carrying cash at night when she would close down a retail store that she was managing, and she wanted some protection there when she was all by herself with a bucket of money. So in our case, personal protection was what we were worried about. Now, so we decided that we're going to have a pistol. We're not carrying a rifle for personal protection or a shotgun. So, and my wife is going to be the one carrying it. So, with her skill set in mind and her stature and physiology, we started thinking about what kind of a gun we wanted. We're not going to be putting it in a pocket or a purse. She was going to be open carrying it in a well-designed holster. So full size is what we decided, because generally they seem to be more shootable. Full size gun versus a pocket gun is typically a little heavier and a little easier to control with a bigger grip and more weight. With a full size caliber or intermediate to full size caliber, like a 380 or a 9mm in a small frame gun, it has quite a bit of recoil. And to that extent, the person should consider their own skill set, or the person that's going to be shooting it. My wife, I would classify as a beginner, borderline intermediate, but beginner shooter, new to the world of automatics and pistol shooting. So we would want to get something that was relatively simple, not complex to disassemble or work the controls, safety or decocker or whatever happens to be there, depending on the model we decide on. So having determined what level skill set she has and what the purpose for the gun was going to be, we also kind of at that point have decided on the caliber. We don't need something that's going to have prohibitive amount of recoil, and we don't need something that's going to be underpowered. We settled on 9mm. Also, ammunition is readily available and relatively inexpensive. So I guess, like all things, budget goes into that as well. And so, maybe the next step, at least our next step, was to go to the range and shoot a lot of different guns. And we shot SIGs and Berettas and Colts and Springfields and a Smith and steel framed guns like a CZ75 and polymer framed guns like this Smith & Wesson. We decided that grip fit, trigger pull, slide actuation and controls, one of the top contenders for her was the Smith & Wesson M&P series. And also in that line with the budget thinking, that's a little bit less expensive gun. And that's kind of where we went. Once we decided that's what we wanted, I couldn't necessarily buy it for her and put a bow on it because of our laws here, so it made the most sense to just hand her the money, which wasn't romantic, but certainly she bought this gun and bought a Black Hawk holster that is designed to keep it in the holster and not let anybody take it unless they push a button, and you can't accidentally drop the gun and you can't get to the trigger and discharge it without pulling it from the holster. So here we are on our gun, and I'll just give you a bit of a light review. Polymer framed, so it does recoil a little more than the steel framed gun, but certainly heavy enough and grippy enough to manage that. It does come with 3 different grips, small, medium, and large, and we have the medium on there right now. You can see, if I keep it in the light, there's quite a bit of texturing on the grip all the way around, and it's not aggressive. It's not serrations. It's not uncomfortable by any means, and when a person has wet or sweaty hands, it seems to hold pretty well. The only safety on the gun is this bottom half of the trigger, the hinge. You have to have your finger on the trigger in order to get it to depress the whole way. The magazine release is right here on the, on the left side of the gun, designed to be hit with your thumb. It's a 17 round double stack single feed magazine. The disassembly procedure is pretty simple. There's a lever here that needs to be turned 90 degrees in that notch. So you go like that, and then pull the trigger, and off it comes. Pretty easy to pop the recoil spring out and the barrel just like that. It does have ambidextrous safety controls, or I'm sorry, slide lock. Okay, so you can see on both sides right here and right here. The sights are fully adjustable, elevation in the back, windage in the front. So yeah, pretty nice gun, we thought, right? Once we get it, take it to the range and get comfortable. This thing has some pretty nice grooves on the side. You can see on both sides to get a hold of the slide, which is pretty nice. For me, I'm left-handed, so I can shoot this gun right-handed, and I can actuate the slide stop with my thumb. However, my dominant side is the left side, and to actuate it with the other side takes a little bit of work, and that's because it's more of a direct push on the magazine follower on this side and a more indirect on this one, and it just takes a little more force to push it down. I have shot other pistols where it's not a problem at all to release the slide. My wife does have a little bit of trouble with it as well. However, she found that it was comparable to the rest of them. She had a little bit of trouble with all of them because she doesn't have overly muscular hands. So anyway, and then go have fun. Shoot and shoot and shoot. One caveat with that is remember when you're shooting targets and you choose the really inexpensive bulk ammo, you're not going to set record groups, and it may even shoot to a different point of impact than ammo you may use in other situations. If that's going to not be your primary ammo, and you switch to something like a hollow point for personal protection, you may find it shoots to a completely different point of impact. So shoot with the cheap stuff for sure and save some money, but get the gun sighted in, zero the weapon for your primary source of ammunition, and then it will always perform, and then you can plink around with the rest of the stuff and make your adjustment for that. So anyway, I guess to wrap it up, maybe 7 different categories. What's the purpose? What kind of a firearm are you getting? Handgun, rifle, shotgun? What skill set is the person? Beginner, intermediate, advanced, the person that's going to be shooting it all the time. And caliber, that kind of goes back to purpose. That's going to help you figure that out. Shoot several. Get training on lots of them so that you don't buy one and end up completely unhappy with it. Is feeling it in the showroom when it's shiny under bright lights and not loaded is not going to give you the comprehensive review of the gun that you need. Think about your budget and then buy the darn thing and go get comfortable with it and have a great time. So anyway, thanks for watching the Select a Firearm video. Like and subscribe and help support. Thanks.